Rules are set. 2-year plan. Mike Mutansky, you put on your GM hat. What are you doing first?
Yeah, so my kids play Madden a lot. And
Mhm.
I've seen my youngest son, like he legit turns the salary cap off and makes every trade he wants to make. This is sort of going to be where I start. And this,
Okay.
again, a broad stroke with maybe I can drill down to one individual player, but specifically, you and I talked about this last time. It has not changed. They don't have enough offensive talent. And I'll go back to the Jalen Hurts Eagles thing for a second, Andrew. Look
Mhm.
at how much better he became the year they get A.J. Brown. I think certainly his own personal growth, his abilities, Devonta Smith being out, all those things are important. But A.J. Brown, alpha wide receiver on the outside, changed the outlook there. And so my 1-year plan, 2-year plan, 5-year plan remains. You've got to find that guy. Now, the problem with the parameters that you've given us here, 2 years, even if they draft a guy this year and they nail it, like they get the best guy they can get, he's probably not the alpha by year 2.
Mhm.
So this leads back to something you've written about in the Herald, trading for DeAndre Hopkins. The guy that I'm like, and again, this is not realistic, but I would be calling Cincinnati every day and saying, you can't pay T. Higgins. Like he to me, in a fantasy world, T. Higgins is a Patriot and they pay him an obscene amount of money as soon as next year. Now, Tyler Boyd's a free agent after next year. So there's a potential you can get one of those Bengals guys. They're going to pay Jamar Chase, going to pay Joe Burrow. They're going to revamp the offensive line. They can't pay all three of them. But in the 1 or 2 year plan, and you want to go 2 years first, they've got to find a way to get that alpha. And of all the guys that I've looked at all the names, the potential free agents, the trade targets. The one I keep coming back to is T. Higgins because I think he just gets lost in the shuffle. He's got every physical skill you want. He's not quite at Jamar Chase's level, but boy, as number one in an offense, I think that guy could be awesome. So it's not changed. It's fantasy football, but T. Higgins and or a one receiver is still the first thing they have to be looking at right now in the Patriots front office as we're speaking right now.
So we'll run through the rest of your plan and then I'll jump in mine. But I'll give you
Yeah,
a little tease that we are aligned, and the first step is get that weapon on the outside. Someone who I've
have
described
to.
as you've got some gravity to you. Okay. The safety's either backing up or he's cheating over to your side. That opens up space, of course, over the middle or in the opposite side. And so for me, the T. Higgins conversation is interesting. Who knows what that value could be? They're having conversations. There's a template with the deals, as you mentioned, with A.J. Brown, the Eagles acquiring him on draft day. But the Patriots also would need to then lock him in soon
Yeah.
for an extension, which T. Higgins' agent will know, his camp will know, and they'll have leverage baked in as soon as the Patriots or whatever team acquires him. A, I don't think that's going to happen. B, I would, of course, not be against it. But C, the money is going to be interesting because I've said time and time and time again, the Patriots don't pay for number one receivers. But let's say they do it anyway. They trade for him. They give him that extension. And you have him here in this 2-year plan. You keep him on the same year, this current year, rookie contract, the final
Yep.
year, very cheap. Next year, 2024, with the extension, you can still backload that deal and have a ton of cap space, even though you just traded for and signed T. Higgins to an extension to sign other weapons. So this is a deal that could be, again, you're kind of kicking the can down the road, but cost effective for the Patriots within this window while you add a legitimate number one talent.
Yeah, I go back to the Bill O'Brien hiring, which we have not, it's happened since we last talked. Thank God they brought this guy in. And hopefully he has a say, and Nick Saban recently has come aboard this idea that, look, defense is not what it used to be, both in college and the NFL. You've got to surround your quarterback with super talent. And I hope, Andrew, that doesn't Bill O'Brien, doesn't he come here and tell Bill, hey, Bill, the way you've gone about it, it's different. And I don't know, maybe you've talked to people around the building. Is Bill Belichick going to respect Bill O'Brien's opinion? If Bill O'Brien comes in and says, hey, even Nick Saban thinks we got to have upgraded offensive talent, is Belichick willing to buy in? Because when you say they've not been willing to pay number one receivers, immediately I want to scream, well, they have to. It's a different game now. So does Bill O'Brien have that gravitas to be able to say to Bill Belichick, hey, we got to do things differently, especially offensively?
He will, maybe not in that specific area, even as someone who benefited from DeAndre Hopkins all those years down in Houston.
Yeah.
And then, of course, dealt DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona. But the fact that O'Brien has as much input with the staff, which you go, hey, it's his offensive staff. What are you talking about? No. The boss is Bill Belichick, whether you coach offense, defense, or special teams. But he brings in Will Long, 37, former Alabama offensive analyst. Before that, an assistant with the Texans. Before that, at Penn State. There's a theme here. Yes, he's following Bill O'Brien wherever he goes. Says a lot. And it was an easy door to step into because Nick Caley left it open on his way out when he left to go to the Rams. But Bill O'Brien has a lot to say, perhaps as much, if not more say, than any recent coordinator to kind of step in this late in the Belichick era. So, yeah, I think he might have some input there, but the system, the roster building philosophy, I have a hard time seeing Bill O'Brien have much sway there, because if we go back to Bill O'Brien, the GM, that was a disaster. People want to talk about Bill the GM versus Bill the head coach in New England. Okay, not as bad as Bill the GM and Bill the head coach down in Houston in those years.
Yeah, that was not a good couple of years there for Bill O'Brien after he rebuilt Penn State. So, I mean, I guess we agree at the top of it. T. Higgins would be my guy. Hopefully you have some more names. If T. Higgins is not realistic, some more realistic names.